Traveling with Grandfather's Zoo. This chapter is written by Ruskin Bond. Ruskin Bond was born in 1934. He was an Indian author of British origin. His novels, poems, short stories, and essays display his love for nature, particularly the mountains. He wrote his first novel, The Room on the Roof, at the age of 17. He has won the Sahitya Academy Award, Padma Shri, and Padma Bhushan. His literary works include The Angry River, Rain in the Mountains, and Scenes from a Writer's Life. Award-winning films have been made based on his original stories, A Flight of Pigeon and The Blue Umbrella. Now let's start the story. Do you have pets, or would you like to have pets? Read about the adventures that takes place when a family decides to travel with few of their exotic, that means strange and uncommon pets. In this story, there are few characters like first is grandfather, then grandmother, third is narrator, and fourth is Aunt Mabel. There are few animals as well, like Popeye the parrot, Timothy the tiger, Chips the squirrel, and Python. Now let's start with the story. The family was planning to shift for few months from Dehra to Lucknow, and while the journey to Lucknow, they decided to take their pets along with them. Grandmother wanted to take Popeye the parrot. Grandfather wanted to take Timothy the tiger. And the narrator wanted to take his squirrel. They left their python behind. As they were traveling with lots of animals, grandfather decided to travel in first class so that they could have their own 4-berth compartment. One berth for Timothy the tiger, even though they were traveling with the tiger. Everyone admitted that the tiger behaved well. He did not disturb anyone. All of them were very excited, and Popeye the parrot was also very excited. Before the train could move out of the Dehra station, Popeye objected the vendors and other people poking their hands in through the windows. And people also started playing with him by poking their hands through the window. But Popeye nipped 2 fingers. Nipped means bitten sharply, and pulled a ticket from Inspector's ear. The narrator had a squirrel named Chips, which he had kept in his pocket. But as soon as the train started to move, the squirrel jumped from his pocket, examined the surrounding. Before the narrator could stop him, the squirrel left the compartment and was roaming around in the corridor. The squirrel was very friendly, and he made friends with children and grown-ups. Everyone offered him roasted peanuts. Now, grandmother already had soup and she was about to sleep. But before sleeping, she told the grandfather to eat something from the tiffin basket, which she had prepared. The narrator was very hungry, so he asked his grandfather about the tiffin, that what's there in the tiffin. Grandfather told him that there are sandwiches, boiled eggs, a roasted chicken, gooseberry pie in the basket. But as soon as the boy opened the basket, he got a big surprise. And the surprise was grandfather's pet python was in the basket. Grandmother had already instructed them to leave the python behind, but somehow it managed to snuggle itself into the tiffin basket. As they saw the basket, They found that the python had finished all the dinner and there is nothing left except the apples. Grandfather was quite worried because he thought if grandmother saw the python, she will think that he has brought the snake purposely. Meanwhile, the narrator was feeling very hungry and they had nothing to eat. But his squirrel kept on bringing peanuts for him. Now everyone was sleeping except Squirrel, because he was roaming around in other people's compartment. At midnight, grandfather heard a great noise of shouting, "Snake! Snake!" And when he opened the tiffin basket, it was empty. He immediately ran out of the compartment. People told him that there is a snake in the toilet. The snake was thirsty, so it went to the washroom to drink water. Grandfather gathered the snake and stepped out of the washroom. Now, here enters Aunt Mabel. She was a school teacher in Lucknow. She was going to share their new house with her. She took the basket as she was very excited to taste meals cooked by grandmother. As they reached the station, they all sat in the taxi. Timothy sat at the back with grandfather and the narrator. Grandmother and Aunt Mabel sat in front, and the basket was on Aunt's lap. She gave instruction to driver, and the grandfather was very happy to settle in the new house. When they entered the new house, they saw breakfast on the table. But Aunt Mabel was excited to open the basket and to eat grandmother's breakfast. As soon as she removed the lid of the tiffin, she saw half asleep python with an apple in its mouth. Aunt Mabel fainted after seeing python. Grandfather picked up the python and left it on guava tree in the garden. And when Aunt recovered, she told everyone that she saw a huge snake in the tiffin basket. But they all showed her that the basket was empty, and they all started laughing.